Hello, good morning. Welcome to today's weekly forecast on our instruments. The move yesterday was such confusing for many, and all these were just ploy to confuse you, knock you out of the trades. If you want to sell, they want to knock you out. If you want to buy, they want to knock you out. But what has changed? Has anything changed? Now, this is US dollar index, and this was a big sell, and we believe that whatever we are seeing, it's a correction to this move to the downside. So we are trying to recover as much as possible to correct, and so far it's looking more likely that this is the last correction to the upside before we come down. But are we done to the upside? Even though in the last 30 days, you can see these are daily candles. In the last 30 days here, we can see that the sellers had been trying to force the price down. But I can tell us this might be the last moment or the occurrences that occurs before they change the trend. But having said that, we can still go ahead and break this top. That is very, very possible. And before we dwell into that, so we're going to see. So these are things that happens. They're usually a tussle for power before you don't have a change of batting. When you are getting to the peak of it, there is usually a tussle for power. And the big boys understand what it means when they're trying to relinquish their positions. And all these are gimmicks to make sure that they close their position properly because they understand the dynamics and how it works. And they will force price down, up and down, up and down. And the retailers are usually confused and they cannot pick the sign until they close properly. And all of a sudden, they're going to trust the price to the downside. So these are effects of the news yesterday. So we can see that they are closing bearish 3 days in a row on US dollar index. So if you look at the XY, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. So nothing is going to change. You can see it's pretty much the same. So, but if you look at the weekly candle, maybe we'll see doji trying to appear on the weekly candle. So you can see a doji trying to appear as well. So it may close in a doji, but it does not mean that they are ready to come down or that they cannot break the top again. But I still believe that we are still going to be seeing reaction around this area. We might be seeing reactions around this area now. This area. This might be a top call, but price can still get here. It depends on the changes, the exchanges that occur here. So the first appearance of the doji, might tell us that the sellers are trying to come in because either on the weekly, it has been bullish, bullish, bullish. Even when they were trying to force, a doji to close here, you can see they were trying to force this one to close in a bearish manner, but it still ended up in it. So you are going to be looking at these signs, even if you don't know anything at all about Forex, you should be looking at the daily candle, how it's closing. And the first appearance of a counter close in a week, might signal the intention to change the trend. So that is one thing you must know. Just like here now, and probably they were going, interchange. This is a weekly candles anyway, until we had this on a weekly. And of course, they still forced it back. They will still force it back and until we now had a change of pattern to the downside. So like here, so you can see no bearish candle had ever occurred here on DXY. And is it going to close being a bearish candle on a weekly? If that happens, that will be a good news to signal that we are coming to the end, but that does not mean that we cannot still break the top. If I go to US dollar index to see if it's the same thing that we are seeing here on the US dollar index, okay, we had a bearish close here in an armor to the upside, which means that they might still force the price up. It's not the same on the US dollar index, and probably we need to see how this one is going to close. On the euro dollar, let's see. On the euro dollar, yeah, so it's similar to that of the DXY, and so are we going to see this one close on the bullish on the weekly? So, but on the daily, it's still the same thing that is happening. The bears, the bulls on the euro dollar, they are having like a 3-day 1, 2, 3. But does it mean that they are trying to change and we're going to go up? I do not think so, but we are going to be seeing, we are going to go inside of it. Let's switch to the 4-hour. Okay, before anything at all, on the daily, this is the level, this is the, after this move and the correction, we had this thrust to the downside. So this is a point to break. There is a point to break. If we break this structure, so we are telling ourselves that we want to go up. Now, the way and manner we break this structure matters. Even if we get there, are we going to see a strong reaction to the downside? But we need to close properly, at least 1 hour candle closing properly on top of this structure before you can say that, yeah, we are ready to go to the upside. So it has to close above it. 1 hour candle has to close at least above it before you can say that, yeah, we are ready. So we are getting there. So, and if we do get here and begin to close, then we are going to still have a decent run to the upside. So be patient while we wait for all the signs. Don't say that, oh, they are going to buy now and you want to plug into a buy. It's already too late for you to join a buy. So even if they're going to buy, you are going to wait for correction, deep correction to the downside before you join another move to the upside. But for now, I will still implore you to take your calm. It's the same thing on DXY when you are looking at the level or the structure to break on the daily. It will still be the same on the 4-hour, to break. So now this is the structure here. You can see that's the structure here. And on the, if I want to see where we are still going to, I think we may still be coming to this point, this resistance here, we may still be coming there. We are almost here, either between here and here on the DXY. And if you check the euro dollar, we want to see where the likely place that the price may still, retest before we begin to move up. We are broken down here. So we are breaking this place. Definitely we are going to break this place. So still around this area is still possible. This area is still possible for price to get to, which is deep enough. That area is still possible for price, or around this area, or anywhere. So it is structure here. So instead of you trying to look at this for here for euro dollar, you have to pay more attention to the structure. Now let's go inside and see what and how things played out. So let's go to on the US dollar index. Now this is still this daily structure or 4-hour structure. You can see that's the last structure up that we have to break. It's the same. Now let me bring my instrument out. I realigned us and I said that we had 1 and 2, and this is like a 3, and this is like a 4. And one of the reasons why I said this is likely to be a 1 of 5 and a 2 of 5, that we're still going to have a 3 of 5. There must be a reason behind that. What we do know is that in an ending diagonal, wave 3 is not the shortest. Wave 3 can never be the shortest in an ending diagonal. So if we say that this is 1 of the ending diagonal and this is 2 of the ending diagonal, and we are seeing a 3 and a 4 and a 5, and that would end it, then if this is a 3 compared to from here to being a 1, so the 1 is too long, and that this is going to be a 2, and this is going to be a 3, and this is going to be a 4, and a 5 probably will break the top. So we have to think, it does not, this is quite impulsive in itself. So that is why I still believe that this is with 3 that formed a nest, you know, a nest here to give us a 3, and probably this point, it's the end of the 4th correction. And now we are entering the ending diagonal proper. So this may be 1 and this may be 2. I may be wrong, but we just need to see. Our target is to break this structure here, and the way Amana will break it, to have a 1 hour candle close above it. Structure has to be broken before we know we are going up. Just like here, the structure was broken. If you go to 1 hour, let's look at 1 hour, how we broke above 3, so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this is 3 here. So you can see that 4 hour candles actually closed above that 3, which is here, this purple. Then we began to have what they call a consolidation and the beginning of a correction. So the move so far, it's very corrective. Look at this as a stretch, go up as a stretch, that's impulsive. And when you have this and this and this and all this in the middle, this is signs of correction, and still tell us that the price is going to go up. Regardless of what we are seeing here, they are almost coming here to probably try to test this area. But I still believe, I'm of the opinion that the price will still going up. We are in the last phases or stages of all this that we are seeing. And if that is the case, if price should react, okay, let's see, because it's a bit different on all of these instruments. So what played here was we were here thinking that this is an A, and in the middle here, it's a B. So, or we said this is A, B, C of an A, okay, and this is A, 1, 2, 3 of a B, and that this is will be, okay, we said a WXY, so this is a W, and this is X in here, and that this is going to be a Y. But everything was short-lived, and we had this trust to the downside, and this to break this top again. So everybody got confused. When you saw this moving down in 5 waves, everybody was happy that, okay, now we are going down to continue, and they play this on you. After playing this on you, what is everybody thinking again? Everybody's thinking that, okay, we are going up. They are going to confuse you. You'll be surprised if by the opening of the of the market tomorrow evening, late in the evening, they begin to go down again to finish with 3 of the ending diagonal. Now, so what have they done here in terms of structure? And yeah, my bias can still change, but we need to see what happens between this zone for our bias to change. We need to see that. Now, what are we seeing here? So what they did, instead of having this as a W, ABC of the X, and to have a Y to end there, they extended this, put this one, and to finish a Y, a W here. So the interchange here, it's like the ABC of that W, and this is the last wave here of the W that ran to the upside in 5 waves to have a proper W. So, and if they have a proper W, they're going to have an X to the downside. And for us to have a Y must close in an impulse. A Y must close in an, so just like you expect the C leg of this to close in an impulse, so the Y also must close in an impulse. So it has to be an impulse. And if you look, we are trying to navigate 5 waves to the downside now to close this properly as a Y. And where can it get to? It can get to an extension of 100 and not more than 123 to actually close properly. So if you take your instrument from here to this point and come here, and 100 comes in here. So, and 123 comes in here. So 123 will just be at par with this support here. So if price gets here, so in case you want to buy this, 2 pips or 5 pips behind this is where you can stay. But price may or just retest at 100 and begin to go down again. So, but in case anything changes and they break above here and they close 1 hour candle above here, what is going to happen? They're going to have a pullback to continue to the downside. That is how to look at it. But in case we get reaction here, what we are saying is that if this is one of that movement, so we are saying that this is 100 movement, okay? This is an 100. So it means that whatever we are going to see as 3 cannot be shorter than this before we have a 5. That is what we are saying. It cannot be shorter before we have a 5. So we expect at least our 3 to get here or more before we begin to have the 4th leg to the downside and 5 again, which may actually just cap this before we come down. So we expect 3 to be longer than this. That's what I'm saying. So we are in an ending diagonal. To me, we're just commencing an ending diagonal. I still think that this thing is going to break up. But if that would change, we just need what happens here for it to change. So going to the DXY quickly. Now, note that for W here on the US dollar index, all that played here played behind or above this line. So in measurements, at times, you have to see that everything is not the same and your counting of the wave, you have to do better. So looking at here, this is where you probably will expect it, but they add this push to close 5 above. In US dollar index, it was truncated to close below the spot. In the DXY, they closed above it to actually touch 100 extension, of what you were thinking here as a WXY, but now they changed this to give us an X, which is impulsive. And now the Y also is going to be an impulsive to the downside. And that is what we are saying now. So 100 is here and 123 here. Now, if the price does not take 100 and comes to 123 or 127 here, it would have broken this to the downside here. And that might be a false break, because you must know that it's within the structure of WXY to get to this point. So it will be a false break out here, to understand. And immediately you must get a reaction. We must get a reaction in this zone. Even if price breaks this bottom here of 1, the origin of 1 here, we are going to get a sharp reaction that tells us that price is making it back to even break this top. So you now be wondering, how come they are going to break this bottom, they're going to break this top? It doesn't work like that. It works, according to Fibonacci ratio. Sorry about that. Fibonacci ratio. So, but again, you must know that the back and forth movement, when the price is getting close to the end of a particular trend, happens that a deep correction, almost eroding the origin of a particular wave, tells you there is a power tussle. So, and that is what is happening now. So we are picking the late signs of the end time of this particular wave that we have been in for close to 3 months now. So we are probably getting to the end time of this wave, and we are now seeing power tussles. And these are signs that will peak, but the price is yet to sit below here and close 1 hour candle below it. Now let's go to our instrument. Of course, is the same. We expect 3. If we get reactions here, we expect that 3 is probably longer than this, if indeed we are having an ending diagonal. So let's go to our instrument, and that is where we are going to end. It's pretty much the same. on the euro dollar. This is a 1 hour candle. So let's wait for it to load. You must always recount if you now here I need to tell us again that you can see that these actually close above, like, you know, for us to have a W and a Y, X in an impulse and a Y going up. Now, where do we expect 100? This is almost reaching 100 here. But something tells me this is going to break 100 and get to the vicinity here. So on the euro dollar, you might see it actually breaking this point here, going up here, and getting a sharp reaction to the downside. It's not impossible, but you must be looking within from here to here, the space of like 60 pips to know what is going to happen. And as you are saying that, you must be checking the two other instruments, the DXY and the US dollar index, to see what is, because on the it's more manipulated on the euro dollar, seeing the structure here. But now what you are seeing here, I don't believe that the price is ready to still go up. They are still going to come down. This is very corrective. This is impulsive to the downside. Yeah, which is, yeah, good for us as a 1. And this is corrective like a 2 that we expect. And we need to see an impulsive to the downside as a 3 that will break this low. That's what we're expecting. And when we get that, we'll see. Which means that if these are giving us over 120 pips, let's see, from here to this place, had given us about almost 170 pips. We'll still need at least nothing less than 170 pips to the downside, if not more, to give us a 3. And before we have a 4 and a 5. So, and at that point, we might be looking for a bigger correction. So I still think that we're going to break this blue line here. We're going to break it well to the downside to have that 3. So, but we need to see how this one is correcting. But on the alternate, because we said this is 100, this is 123. On the alternate is to actually begin to see this as a 1 and that this is a 2. But that sounds crazy to me, because 2 is supposed to be corrective and not an impulse. You understand? So if you see a 1 like this and this is a 2, it's supposed to be actually corrective, not an impulse. So, but again, we can welcome every nonsense theory, and this will be nonsense to me. So, but in that case, if we say this is not W and X is 1 and 2, then we are expecting at least price to tick 161.8, which is this green line here. And so at that 161.8, if we tick this place before we get a reaction to the downside, then we are saying that now this is the 3rd wave. We are going to look for the 2nd wave pullback to go up. So we must understand the process and how to navigate around all these things when it happens. So they have played it on us here as we thought W and X around this area, and that we're seeing a Y here, and they cap 100, you know, extension here, and they threw it. Everybody's, yes, we are going down now. Yes, it's wave 3 that is going down, and they force it back up. But then forcing it back up, we just that we're going to realign ourselves as a W, X, and this one must go up as a 5-wave structure to complete and close Y, and they are going to come down again. So the first part of wave 3 probably is going to be corrective, like silly corrective, like what you saw here, you know, short movement and all those movements before the inner core of the big 3, and that is going to thrust the price sharply to the downside. So we'll see all that they're going to do. But I'm just giving us this head up to know that price may break this structure. It doesn't mean that breaking it, they're ready to go up. You're going to check other instruments. And it's when probably we extend 161.8 that we break that green line that will say that now we are actually going up and we are done. So those are 2 scenarios. But now go inside of this wave that we have here to see how we can begin to count it on the 15 minutes time frame. And that's where I'm going to end. So on the 15-minute time frame, you can see this push here, and that's like a 1, and this is like a 2, and a 123 or 161.8 are pushed beyond here, And this looks like, okay, this top here that we are seeing if the third wave. So that might be the third wave. So if that is a third wave and this is a 2, we come to the edge of the third wave and to pick a 4. So the fourth wave can be here. So, and this is 50% retracement, not until we break this. So once we break this one to the downside, that tells us that, yes, now we are in a new wave 3 to the downside to complete, wave 3 of the ending diagonal to the downside. So we need to break this one. So, but what is happening now looks like we're in wave 4, big 4 of this particular thrust to the upside. So we're in a 4, and to navigate that, we may not have ended the 4. The 4th may do all of that consolidation. This might just be an A of it. This might just be the B of it, might just be A of B, B of B, and a C of B. And that might pull beyond probably something in the range of 123 or 161.8 to the upside, then have a C, which, then before we now have wave 5 to the upside, and anything is possible. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm just teaching us things to know, because if this comes here and we are saying from this top here that the B wave to the upside for this particular one can actually be around 123, 161.8, then trust the B side to the downside. In that case, you're going to trust the C to the downside. This is A, and B around here. C can still get here as a running flat or an extended flat, before they now finish the last leg to the upside as a wave 5 of Y, and they turn the tide. So pay attention to counting the count of this wave. Once you break beyond 161.8 extension here, then you know that you are within wave 5 and not a correction of 4 anymore. So you have to break 161.8 extension of this to the upside. So let me show you again. So once you break, once you break this point, let me use blue for it, turquoise blue. So once you break that point to the upside, then you know that you are not correcting wave 4 anymore, but you are in wave 5 of this particular wave, and you must be counting the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to where you're going to get a reaction. And if you want to sell 2 pips below the point you expect to sell, that's where you pick your sell order and you begin to come down. And if price should break here and break this to the upside, I think it's better for you to close your trade and watch, what is going to happen again. And with that, I've come to the end of today's weekly forecast. So we'll see you during the week. Bye.